All right, we have some breaking news in the Middle East. The Pentagon is confirming to NewsNation that a rocket attack hit outside the al-Asad air base in western Iraq, injuring several American personnel who were stationed there. It's unclear at this moment who launched the attack, but it does look to be launched by Iranian proxies. President Biden has been briefed. We are monitoring the developments. This news, of course, comes as Israel is on high alert, bracing for a large-scale attack from Iran and or its proxies, if not properly calibrated, of course. This could all throw the United States and the wider region into a bloody conflict. Just hours ago, Israel announced that it conducted a strike in southern Lebanon, killing another high-ranking Hezbollah commander. This comes hours after the Lebanese militant group launched its own drone attack on northern Israel that injured 2 Israeli troops. Israel says the death of that Hezbollah terrorist will now, quote, severely disrupt the group's ability to target them. The volley of strikes today as President Biden held a high-stakes meeting with his national security team at the White House Situation Room. The White House is urging de-escalation as the Pentagon is increasing its military presence in the region, moving the USS Abraham Lincoln carrier strike group to the Middle East. The movements come as Iran has vowed, quote, severe punishment against Israel after last week's assassination of a Hamas leader inside Tehran. The exiled leader was reportedly blown up by a bomb that was planted under his bed in an Iranian Revolutionary Guard guest house. Israel has not officially claimed responsibility, but the Hamas chief's death came just hours after Israel did claim responsibility for a strike in Beirut that killed a top Hezbollah commander. The message from the State Department today to all parties involved: take a step back. Escalation is in no one's interest.
We are at a critical moment for the region, and it is important that all parties take steps over the coming days to refrain from escalation and calm tensions. Escalation is in no one's interest. It's not in the interest of any one country, it's not in the interest of the region, and it's certainly not in the interest of the millions of civilians who just want to live their lives free from violence and conflict.
All right, let's discuss all this now with our panel. Joining me is retired U.S. Army Major Mike Lyons, and David Tarfori is a former State Department official who also served as an Obama campaign foreign policy advisor. Thank you so much, both of you, for being here. David, I'd like to start with you. There are reports today that Antony Blinken, is warning G7 allies that an attack could come in the next 24 to 48 hours, that's today or tomorrow, from either Hezbollah or Iran or both. It is now nightfall there when these attacks have typically happened.
That's right. It does seem like an attack is imminent. We know that Iran intends to retaliate. The supreme commander, supreme leader in Iran, Ayatollah Khomeini, has basically ordered retaliation. And when he makes an announcement like that, it's an edict. It's almost like an executive order here. It means Iran will likely do something. We know they're embarrassed by the killing of Hania. You laid out some of the details of how he was killed. He was a guest of Iran. And so that's really embarrassing in the Middle East if you can't protect your guest. There are a number of ways that they might attack. It could be airstrikes, as Blinken seems to be warning. They weren't successful in April when they did airstrikes in response to the attack on IRGC officials in Damascus, Syria. They were all knocked down by U.S. and Israeli air defense systems. So they might do something else, might try to be creative in terms of attacking Israeli interests somewhere in the region.
Major, David brings up that attack in April. Iran launched more than 300 missiles and drones and rockets to Israel. 99% of them were either intercepted or shot down. Do you think we're going to see something different in the next 24 to 48 hours?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a signaling. I think it will be more of a phased attack. They were embarrassed by that first launch that they made, but Israel's been fortunate that they haven't had creativity on the side of their enemies, even going back to
What do you mean by that?
Well, they haven't synchronized their fires. If you're going to have the capability to attack from 4 different avenues of approach, the Iranians can control attacks that have come from the north, from Lebanon, through Hezbollah. They can come from the south, from the Houthis. They can fire long-range rockets.
So you're expecting a bigger, more coordinated response from Iran this time?
That would be the only way to get them out of that kind of funk that they were in from the original attack they made. It was so embarrassing that it was they threw the kitchen sink, basically.
Right.
the Israeli Defense Forces with the United States and everybody, these other NATO countries, were able to defend against it. Now,
thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.